Fair enough. All right, let's talk some predictions real quick. Olivia, I put everybody on the spot when they come on this show. What do you think's going to happen this weekend between the Texas Longhorns and the Georgia Bulldogs? Who's winning the series? And maybe if you want to get really down to the nitty gritty, how do you think they take it?
Ooh, that's a good question. Predictions are always so hard because it's any given day, any given night. But
Right.
just looking, obviously, I've watched Georgia a lot more than I've watched Texas. I think this Georgia team's really good. I think it's probably the best team since that 2008 World Series team. Definitely better than last season, which is saying something. So I'm going to go Georgia takes it 2-1. I think Georgia wins the Saturday night or the Saturday game. Friday night could be a toss up. If Charlie Goldstein can locate that fastball, that's been his biggest area of concern this season as he continues to come back from that offseason surgery. If he can get that location back of that fastball, he could be Georgia's ace. So I think if he does that, Georgia has a really good chance to take Friday. Sunday, I think it leans towards Texas, just looking at how Leighton Finley's been recently. He's locating his pitches. It's just the other team's definitely hitting them, so he needs to get that under control. But my final prediction, I guess I would say 2-1. I think it's going to be a bit of a slugfest more than, or maybe not a slugfest, but I think some runs are going to be scored.
So Olivia's got the Georgia Bulldogs coming into Austin, winning the series,
Yeah.
headed into Sunday. It's already wrapped up, and maybe they're playing for a sweep. All right, that's fair enough, Olivia. Mark, what do you got?
You're killing me, man. We talked about this, I think, on
Hey,
text last night. It's so hard for me to make a prediction, not knowing who the hell's going to play for us this weekend. Like Zach's sitting here telling me they might play, they might not play.
yeah,
I think Galvan and Rodriguez, right, and their availability is going to be
that'll be
really
huge.
important.
Obviously,
It's going to be important.
let's say Galvan and Arod play. What are you
If
thinking then?
if Galvan is available, I think Texas wins the series 2-1. That is
Okay.
not saying anything bad about his backup. I'm not talking bad about Chamberlain at
Oh
all.
no.
Galvan, I told you last week, he is the motor on this
Yeah,
team,
he's
right?
he's the
And
lifeblood of the team. He's the heartbeat of the team right now. He's thumping the ball and obviously big behind the plate. So yeah, it, I don't think Cole Chamberlain would take any offense to that whatsoever. It is what it is. Cole Chamberlain's probably aspiring to be that in his sophomore and junior year and all that stuff. So Mark, you got
yeah,
2-1. You got Texas taking the series, and I'll put if Galvan and A-Rod play. What do you got,
I will
Zach?
just, but for me though, I will just say, like, I'll be honest, I'm not expecting A Rod to play. I could be wrong. I'd be pleasantly surprised if he did. But I think
Fair enough.
Galvan is going to be huge for us. And I think if he's available, I think Texas can take the series. But it's going to be a hell of a series. I will tell you right now, I think Georgia is one of the top two teams in the country. I think they're better to me from what I've seen than Arkansas. I think it's Georgia and Tennessee, the two teams that have stood out to me so far watching baseball this season. So they're a hell of a team, but I do think our crowd's going to be ready to go. And I think the home field advantage could push us over the top playing in Austin this weekend.
What do you got, Zach?
So I have to like vehemently disagree with Mark on them being better than Arkansas. Like Arkansas, just their pitching is lights out, and then their hitting is demonstrably better than it was last year. Georgia is very good. They have a very good offense. I do worry a lot about that pitching. I mean, it's obviously been okay, right? Like they've basically just motored past
Yeah,
people.
they've only
Even when they
lost
gave
two
up
games
five
all
runs,
season, so
yeah, when they give
It's
up 5 runs, it's like, well, we'll get them back later in the game.
yeah.
Um, but I am going to go Georgia 2-1, but that's just because I honestly don't think Rodriguez was going to play this weekend. I think Galvan will. Um, but despite the home field advantage, despite Dish playing large, that offense looms large, and you're always expecting like, hey, the pitching's done so well, there's going to be a blip, right? I do think Texas probably has the advantage if it goes into Sunday, if they're able to preserve Ruger. But like we talked about, if they have to burn Ruger on Friday or Saturday night to try to steal one of those games, that opens a whole mess of trouble for Texas on the pitching front. So,
Yeah, I think if Texas can stay on pace with the pitching, this is certainly a series they can take. And I think I think that's what it's going to come down to, honestly. Like, can we get enough out of the Friday and Saturday starter that we don't have to burn a lot of guys out of the bullpen? When the guys do come out of the bullpen, do they stay as consistent as they have been? And can we roll into Sunday starting a Riojas, and we have maybe a fresh Valanis that we can throw again? He's done that a couple times already this season, where he's pitched the second game and come back in the third game. So I think that'll be a huge key. I'm an old school guy, man, and I like pitching. I think pitching beats hitting a lot. So I'm going to take the Longhorns. If this one was in Georgia, because I think Georgia plays on one of those baby fields like Tennessee plays on.
It has a short right porch. It's 314.
Yeah. So if we're playing in Georgia, I'd probably have to go. I think they're going to slug their way to a series win. But we are playing in a Big Dish Falk. I do like the pitching. They've given me no reason this year to think that they won't stay on pace from a pitching perspective. And, stuff can happen. It is a very good Georgia team, very good offense, obviously. But I think behind that home crowd and the pitching, I think Texas is going to figure out a way to get another series win in the SEC. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, that sounds crazy, because that'd be 4 in a row. And that's tough. I mean, we've talked on this show a bunch of times about getting to 16. Texas is already halfway there through 3 series. So there's room for error. So Texas fans, if my prediction is horribly wrong, if me and Mark are just completely wrong, don't freak out. Still a lot of ball games to be playing, but I'm taking Texas. And I think, Olivia, I'm going to go with you, Olivia. I'm going to say I think we get Friday night.
Mm-hmm. I could see that, definitely.
And I think if we can stay pretty on pace with pitching, we'll take the rubber match on a Sunday. So I'm going to say we win the Friday night game and the Sunday game.
Yeah, I think Saturday's Georgia, Sunday's Texas, Friday it comes down to how Charlie
it could go
Goldston
either
looks.
way.